Hello everybody. Hi. Sorry, I'm gonna try to move you around, so. I don't know, it looks super dark to me today. Anyway, the sun has gone behind the clouds, so there's not a whole lot of light out there. Fall is definitely here. So this morning in the group we talked about having mom goals, and I think I listed 3 or 4 goals that I had for at least today. One of them was to finish the free books post that goes live tomorrow, where I update it after I've scoured the internet and looking for the free homeschooling books and life books and whatever. So that is almost ready, so I'm not quite there yet. Another one was to do this live video, so yay! In which we'll be talking about how to prepare for the holidays. So we know that with the upcoming, usually around now, life seems to start getting a little crazier, it gets a little busy, and things can sometimes start to slide and make us feel off kilter or out of balance. So we're going to be talking about ways that we can prepare for this and how to prevent this from happening. So before I get going, I wanted to tell you that there is some delay with Facebook Live. So if you're commenting, if you're here, if you're watching, if you want to say hello in the comments, so I can see you and say hello back, that would be great, because there is some delay. So as I mentioned, I had some goals, and one of the goals was to have a shower, which you can tell that didn't happen because my hair's straight. And I'm actually going to talk about why I straighten my hair and take the time to do that as part of a way to prepare for this crazy holiday period. So how many of you feel like your schedule, your life, gets more hectic through the months of late October, November, December, and sometimes it carries over into January? Does your life get more busy? Do your work hours pick up? You know, how is that for you guys? Do you find like it gets a little nutty? I actually picked up 2 new jobs at the end of last month, which is funny because we always talk about how flexible we need to be, right? And my family is very, very, very scheduled. They like a schedule, they like a routine, they like a checklist, they like to know what's coming and what's going. And this week has been really, really crazy. We've changed our schedule 4 or 5 times. I was supposed to work yesterday, then I was supposed to work today, and now I'm supposed to work tomorrow and Sunday. So I'm really hoping something sticks, because we don't do well with flexibility, but we have to be, right, in order to make all the pieces of our life fit. So what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is preparing for this busy season, because personally, and I know I can't be the only one, I find throughout the next few months, this is when survival mode kicks in. This is when burnout kicks in. This is when I'm starting to look at that yellow bus going, how bad would it be? So this year, and I did the same thing last year, and I found it really, really helped. So what I want to do is share these things with you because they really worked for me. Now, as always, use what works for you. You know your kids, you know your schedule, you know your family, you know your rhythm. Always, please, do what is right for you. So if I say something and you're like, you crazy? Don't do it. It's like really that simple. Just don't do it. So I always say it's best to be prepared. So if you can take kind of stock, unless your situation has majorly changed, like I mentioned, I just picked up 2 new jobs, so I'm not really sure how the next few months are going to go. But if you can reflect on last year, the things that you would like to have changed, that's a beginning step. So one of the things that I find people often say they wish they could do is go on vacation, which I'm like, what? How do you even fit that in? We always take our vacation through spring and summer, if we actually physically go away. So when I'm going to say take a vacation, I don't necessarily mean fly south, or if you're in the south, fly north. I'm not saying take a big vacation, but one thing you might want to consider is taking a break, be it a mental break or actually a physical break. Now, you know me, and I'm always practical, so I have practical ideas and solutions for you. So one thing that we try really hard to do, I live in Nova Scotia, Canada, and there are a lot of things within my province or area that my children and I have not done. So, for example, my kids have never been to the Cabot Trail in Cape Breton. I don't know if you guys know much about that, but you can Google it and look it up. It's a beautiful trail. It has highway and it has camping and cabins and hiking, and we've never done that. My son was like, oh man, like 6 months old when we took him, and he was like 60 pounds, and it was hiking. It was horrible. But, you know, when you're thinking, okay, I have 2 days off in a row and I need to unplug and I need to get away, can you think of anything in your town, in your area, in your state, in your province, maybe just outside, you know, take into consideration, of course, the time and the gas and the money and all that stuff. But is there anything small, on the small side, that you can do for fun, to release stress, to change up the schedule, to bring some fun back into your homeschool working life that kind of gives you a break? It doesn't have to be massive. When people say take a vacation, I find so many of us think cruise or, you know, flying south or north, which is great if you could do that. But I can't, not with my schedule and not with my finances. So instead of just dismissing the whole idea, I try to scale it down smaller. So what can you do? And sometimes as moms, it's nice to just get away on our own. So can we maybe take a break to our own house? Can we have somebody take the kids for an afternoon where we get to, I don't know, do whatever you want, read, lounge in the bathtub, have a Netflix marathon with, you know, ice cream. Sometimes that mental break, if we can schedule that in when we're having a really busy, hectic life, then that will really help us. So it's just an idea, something to keep in mind. My second tip is to schedule learning. So what I did the first year, life got really crazy and I was drowning. I was like, I can't do this. I don't know what to do. I was in full burnout mode. I was in full survival mode. I was so lost. I mean, so lost. I can't even explain it to you. I don't know if you've ever felt that way, but you feel like you're a chicken. You're running around. Nothing's getting done. You're not asking for help because they can't do it right. You're really relying on yourself. And I was totally there. I didn't know what to do. So what I ended up doing was canceling school for a month. We did no homeschooling for the month of December. I couldn't do it. Where I was working at the time, if you worked over 38 hours, they had to pay you benefits, they had to pay you a higher wage. So they would give you 37.5 hours a week. And that's like not too bad, right? But instead of being like long shifts, they would give them to you in short shifts. And they would do split shifts. So you would go in the morning and then go in at night. And you know how hard that is? Like when you're taking kids to the sitters and you're coming back and you're picking up your husband and you're coming back and you're trying to do your housework, and it was a nightmare. Utter nightmare. So I canceled school. I was like, I can't do this. And just doing that was so freeing. And so many people are like, oh, I can't do that. My kids will get behind. No, they won't. They won't. They might not be, if you're using a scheduled program, where you think that they should be, but they're still learning. So if that whole idea of like canceling school for a month freaks you out, I know some people work in, they do 3 weeks of school, 1 week off, all year round. What are other examples of schedules? If you have a schedule like that, can you put it in the comments for others so that they can kind of see? There's so many ways of doing school, right? That it doesn't need to look like one way. It really, really doesn't. You can totally make it work for you. What I did is I put my children in time for learning for that month and said, okay, this is what you're going to do. You know, just do it. And they marked it and everything. Now, time for learning didn't work for my kids. So it was great for that 1 month. It worked. It took away some of the guilt that I felt, which I didn't need to feel in the first place, but what do I know? You know, when you're looking back, you're like, what were you thinking? Yeah, okay, that's me. But fine, if you need something, do that. Or what I did last year is we took a learning break, and I'll share that resource later, what a learning break looked like for us. But I highly recommend use what you have, okay? Use what you have in your house that your kids are learning. So I created, well, they're like a quiet box. People are like, you use quiet box with your teenagers? Yes, yes I do. I use quiet boxes with my teenagers. Why? Because it works. It gives them something, and they can only have that, what's in that box, during certain times, okay? So they don't get access to them every day. In the quiet box, I have things like Mad Libs. I have audiobooks, so we have earbuds and, you know, something to play an audiobook on. We have art supplies. We have games. We have, I'm trying to think what she has in her box. My daughter loves her box. She stocks it herself. Index cards, anything that they can read, books, they can read, they write, it's quiet. Those, they're all learning things, right? So use what you have. Another thing that I do is I save my subscription boxes for those. So in the summer, we don't do subscription boxes. This last month, we just returned to them. I had the Steve Spangler box, and we just finished it today. So we do 1 or 2 experiments, depending on the time, a week. We do our regular science program like 4 days. Well, we do school 4 days a week. So for 3 days, we do a regular science, and then the 4th day, we do a box together. So it gives us a chance to work together, explore. I only have 2 kids, so maybe if we had more kids, then I wouldn't be needed, but it's fun. I'm learning. So we just finished that. The kids are still playing. This is great, by the way. It's like a fidget spinner, but quiet. Static electricity. And I find it all over the house. I'm not kidding you. It's like in the bathroom. It's on the counter. It's like find the, whatever this thing is called. Pop bottle? I don't know. Anyway, so we do 1 box a month. That's it. And so you can see behind me, I have 2 little passports. This is the Science Expedition box. They're not open. I'm going to open one live next week in video when we started. So I don't know what's in it. And we'll take a month. And so when I cut school back during the busy holidays, I know my kids are still learning because they'll explore. And even though we do school like during that time together, they'll take out the box and they'll dig through and they'll start experimenting. That light up thing, which is away. I find it all over the house and I hear them. Did you know plants aren't electric? They don't conduct electricity? Do you know the dog does, but the cat doesn't? I mean, they're learning, right? So use what you have. Games. I have, this is our favorite math game. Even Stephen Odd, this guy here. And it's just dice. It's for every age. You know, it's colorful. It's portable. They take this to their grandmother's house. So if I have to work and I drop them off, I send them with the games. Send them with their favorite games. And count it. You know, if you have to count your hours, I know some places they require you to count how many hours or how many days you do at school. I mean, that's a math game. It's problem solving. It's, you know, if you want to get really technical, you could call it physics of rolling the dice, and you can really get nasty. I mean, if I showed you a game, okay, how about this one? How many subjects of school could you put in Jenga? Does anybody know? Think about it. I mean, or you can just view it as a game, right? So let your kids play. So take a learning break. If you think that that would work for your family, take a learning break. You know, let them play games. Let them work together on Minecraft if they're into that. And really look at it and realize that learning happens everywhere. And so if you can take you physically out of the learning situation, because you could be at work, you could be, I don't know, cleaning, you can be whatever. Your kids are still learning. So once you figure that out, it really, I don't know, it's like freeing. You know, you don't have that guilt of, oh, it's crazy and I don't know what to do and the kids aren't learning and whatever. So, I mean, something to keep in mind. I feel like every time I'm live with you guys, I always show you my coffee mug. And I noticed looking back, I was like, my coffee mugs are always dirty. And I realized that's because I've been using them all day. This one says coffee first always. It's one of my favorites. It was a gift. I collect them. I need a life. Okay, So the first one was take a vacation. I don't mean get on a cruise ship and fly away, or if you can do that, great. Send me pictures and pack me in your suitcase. But you know, it can be short, it can be a day, it can be half a day, it can be a couple hours. Schedule in me time. You guys know how vital it is to have me time. You know how much I will argue with people about me time, how important it is. And there's very few things that I will actually argue about because one, I don't have time for that. And two, it's your life. You have to do what's right for you. But look after yourself. Just do it. So on Sundays, when that thread comes up and we're all sharing what we're doing that week, take a to-do list, take a note, take your phone, which I would show you, but I'm recording on it. Write a list, grab some ideas, plan, because it's going to get hectic and it's going to get crazy. And you need to figure out how to put yourself and take care of yourself so you can keep going, so you can keep up, okay? Use learning breaks for your kids. So if you need to cut back all your homeschool stuff to exactly what you need to be doing, if you need to be doing anything, because it is flexible. Homeschooling is flexible. And remember that it doesn't have to happen between 8 and 5 or 7 and 3 or whatever the normal schedule is. It can happen on the weekends. It can happen at the museum. It can happen at grandma's house and the babysitters. Send the workbooks or send the games. You know, take advantage of those things, okay? And the last thing is to simplify your life. So think, I'm a planner, so if this doesn't work for you, ignore it. But I like to have an idea of things that will help me get through the period. So if I know 2 or 3 weeks are coming up and it's going to be crazy, I will use, now I'll use my Instant Pot, which you can see here. We keep it over here. There's a plug-in behind. My son tried to use it yesterday. It was the first time he used it, and he was making mac and cheese. And he got everything. He got the water and the pasta and the salt. And he put the cover on, which it lines up in the back. Anyways, and he's like, Mom, it didn't make the sing-songy noise. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, I don't know what's going on. And I said, well, did you plug it in? Oh, no. So for future reference, your Instant Pot will not work if you do not plug it in. I'm trying to give my phone a second to... Is it going to focus? There we go. Okay. So this year I'll be using my Instant Pot, but use your slow cooker. Use your Instant Pot. Some people like to... shoot, what's it called? Freezer meals? Is that what it's called? When you make your meals ahead of time and you freeze them? So prepare. I also have a list, which I desperately need to share and finish writing, of things that only take 3 ingredients. Now, are you going to win any cooking awards? No, probably not. Are your kids going to starve? No. Are you going to starve? No. That's kind of the point, right? You feed your kids so they don't starve. So one of my favorite meals is spaghetti. So it takes noodles, a jar of pasta sauce, and if you're a meat lover like me, hamburger. So you fry up your hamburger, you make your noodles, you add the jar, stir, and serve. Done. Right? So that takes what? Half hour, 30 minutes to cook up your hamburger and boil your pasta? I mean, it's simple, right? So if you have a list of these ideas and the items in your fridge or cupboards, then it really helps you be less stressed during this period. So that's your meals taken care of. Laundry, can you get your kids to help? Can they wash their own laundry? Can you wash your own laundry? Can your husband put his clothes away or even do his own laundry? Or is that safe in your house? I don't know. My husband can do the wash and the dry, but I can't handle the way he folds, so that's a pet peeve of mine, so I fold the laundry. But you know, if it's not a big deal to you, let it go, right? Let them do it. Dishes. I have a system. I have one child that dries and puts away, one that scrapes and sorts, and I wash or my husband washes when we have time. And then we rotate. And I absolutely hate sorting and scraping, and I absolutely hate putting away, except I like it because then I know where things are. Kids will put things in the weirdest spots. That's all I have to say. So, you know, if you're training your children to help around the house, okay? So some people, you might view that as like slave labor. And, you know, be reasonable. It's really important to be reasonable. You know your child, you know what they can do. And I pick like 2 or 3, but my kids are teenagers. So if you have smaller children, you know, can they pick up their toys? That's one less thing that you don't have to do. So make your life simpler if you can. All right, so that's it. So there was 3 ways to help you get through the next few months where things are going to get a little crazy. They were take a break if you can, realize that children are learning when they're not necessarily in school, okay, and simplify your life. So plan ahead, you know, get your list together, meal prep, get things in the house that you need. I don't know what that requires for your family, but for my family, it's, you know, getting in the routines of like every day you come in, pick up your shoes and put them out of the way so I'm not tripping over them. Realizing what I do. Oh yeah, and I was going to say why. Okay, so one of my things today was to have a shower. And as you can tell, I didn't because I have natural curly hair. If you have natural curly hair, you know that means you do not anger the beast. I straighten my hair, and I do that for self-care and to simplify my life, and I like it. But the reason is when it's curly, I wake up and it's like a major monster. I'm not even kidding you. And it's everywhere, and I can't do anything with it. I have to either jump in the shower and wash it and try to get it like under control, or spray it with water and throw it in a ponytail, which it's finally getting long enough to do because it was too short. Short hair for me is more work than long hair. Just to let you know, some people say cut your hair short and it's easier. It may not be true for you. So it takes me about half an hour to straighten my hair. During that time, I close my door. My kids know that's my time. I listen to either podcasts, I listen to videos, or I catch up with clients via Voxer while I'm straightening my hair. Multitask. Or, you know, I just listen to music and sing along, which horrifies my teenagers, which is half the fun of having teenagers, for the record. But then for the next, you know, day or 2, I just get up, brush, and go. And yes, I realize natural straight hair is not that easy, probably, because people always tell me, oh, I have a perm, curls are so easy. No, they're not. Sometimes they are. 99% of the time, mine are hell. So, and then, you know, but my hair is so thick that if I had had a shower this morning before the video, it would still be wet. And it stays wet for like 6 to 8 hours. So I'll have one once a month here, and then I'll have 2 things off my checklist. All right, so thank you so much for hanging out with me today. If you don't know who I am, it's been super nice to meet you. I hope those tips have helped you. So please, please, please use what you have. Use what works for you, but make a plan that will work for you. Okay? It's coming. If you know what to do, it'll make your life simple, and it'll help you find balance in the crazy. So thanks for hanging out with me today, and I will see you next week. I'll be unboxing one of the boxes. I'm dying to find out what's inside. I've been hanging on to them because it's fun, and the kids have been like, I want to know what's inside, and now I can say, no, sorry, I'm going to do it live on video. All right, have a great day, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.